In the movie Spencer, Sean Harris, who plays Chef Darren McGrady, me, talks many times about making the crepes soufflé d'abricot for Princess Diana, Kristen Stewart. Of course, he never actually got to cook it for her in the movie, which was so frustrating for me because you wouldn't believe the hoops that I jumped through to put crepes soufflé d'abricot on the menu for Princess Diana in real life when she went to stay with the Queen. And because in the movie Spencer, you never actually got to see the crepes soufflé or get the recipe for it, you never got to know what it was like until now.
Winston? Winston? Come back with that leg of lamb.
It's a dish that Princess Diana adored, and so whenever she came to stay with the Queen, I would always put it on the menu. Now, the Queen would always have a choice of 2 puddings, desserts, and so I had to put one on the menu that the Queen didn't like or wouldn't pass. She put a line through that one, maybe something like prune bread, pan pruneau. Ugh. So then that meant Princess Diana was going to get the crepes soufflé. Now I know it was underhand, but the Queen did like crepes soufflé too, so they both got to enjoy it. The best part was Princess Diana, who loved the crepes soufflé, was so nervous, scared to ask for seconds at the table with the Queen and the rest of the royal family. She waited until they all left, and then she'd come down to the kitchen, and I'd always have the spare under the table waiting for her. And she'd sit on the table and chat away, talking about Phantom of the Opera, Les Miserables, what was going on in the world, and eating away at the crepes soufflé. Really was a favorite. The soufflé is actually cooked in rings like this. I've put a link to them in the description, but you don't have to get them if you don't want them. You can do it in whatever mold you want to. You can use the small rings like this, the 4-inch, or you can go to the 6, the 8, the larger ones. It really is up to you what size you use. If you don't have the rings and you want to try it out first of all, you can actually make this in, a little souffle case or a casserole dish, and you don't need to turn it out at all. You'll just put the glaze over the top at the end. So I grease the tray and then grease the side of the ring, and this stops it sticking. Once you've greased all of the rings, then they go into a 400-degree oven. What we've got to do next is get the tray really, really hot so that when the batter goes in, the souffle mix, it starts to cook straight away. If you skip this part, it all leaks out through the bottom. Into the oven, 400 degrees, until they're hot, about 5 minutes or so. While the rings are in the oven getting hot, we can make the batter. And it's really easy to make. We start off with some eggs in a bowl, and then we add some flour. Next, some sugar. Some more eggs. Milk. And some cream. And finally, some melted butter. All into a bowl at once. It's so easy. You can make this at home and you don't have the pressure that I had when I was cooking this at the palace, because this had to be ready. It goes straight to the table as soon as it's ready. It won't sit around at all. It's a souffle. I mean, it's in the name, right? But you mix all of these ingredients together. But you can make the batter part maybe an hour ahead if you want to. Just leave it on the side. But you can't add the egg whites until you're about ready to serve the dish. It's going in the oven for about 8 minutes, so time it perfectly. Egg whites, and you've got to beat them until they're stiff. Once the egg whites are stiff, then we can fold them into the batter mix. I like to start off by putting half of the egg whites in first, and then just whisk away until they're all combined. And then the last part I'm going to fold in and try and not knock all the air out of it. Lightly whisking to get all of that egg white into the batter mix. Then I'm switching to a ladle, and I have enough batter here to do about 3 8 to 9 inch ring molds. Or if you're doing it in a big souffle case and you don't want to turn it out, you can do a huge souffle case with this. But today I'm using the small ring molds, and I just want to make sort of an individual portion. Take the rings out of the oven, and straight away we want to fill them up to about 3/4, okay, 3/4. And then back into the oven. These will need about 8 to 10 minutes and they'll be nice and golden brown on the top. Whilst the soufflés are in the oven cooking, then we're going to make the apricot glaze that goes across the top, the sauce. It's so easy to make. It's apricot jam, and we just bring it to the boil and then strain it. Once the jam's come to a boil, and we've put nothing else in there whatsoever, but once it's come to the boil, it's really nice and soft and runny, but we need to get those little apricot pieces out of there, so we're going to strain it. If you're not a big fan of apricot jam, then you can use raspberry, peach jam's super nice on this, strawberry jam, blackcurrant, any flavor you want to really. When the soufflés come out, they look amazing. Look at those. What you need to do is just run a knife around the edge of the ring. Carefully remove the ring. And lift the first one onto the plate. Trim off any edges like that. It's so light and fluffy and airy. And then we'll take a little of this apricot jam and just pour that over the top. Then we'll take the second one, and again carefully lifting on top of this one. That's quite a size. This is bigger than a single portion, but you know what? When you come to eat these, you'll be making them in satellite dishes. Seriously, it's so good. And now we ladle over some more of the apricot jam. Yes, ladle. We need lashings of it. Crepes Soufflé d'abricot, fit for a princess. Absolutely gorgeous. Completely fat-free until you eat it. As you spoon into it, those layers of soufflé in there with a little cream, apricot sauce. It's unbelievably good. So easy to make. You can make this at home too. Thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't. Give me a thumbs up. Leave a comment below. Recipes in the description. You can make the crepes soufflé d'abricot. Crepes soufflé for Princess Diana. See you again soon.